All right, folks. So about to go see a friend. I guess it's all just settled in a little bit. Open my blinds a tad. Fuck, I think I almost broke it. Yeah, so I think it's all starting to settle in. I've gotten a lot of kind words from folks at work, which is like both a shame but also validation that they all seem to believe in me. They're all saying things like, hey, you've got this, you're going to succeed, etc. Which is exactly what I need to hear when, probability, statistically, startups fail a lot. So it's all stacked against me, the odds. So yeah, I think I need that kind of reassurance, and I'll continue to need that kind of reassurance as well. So having a strong social support system, folks, it's the way forward. So yeah. Yo. Yeah, so I wanted to just say as well, one thing I realized now that I've woken up on a Saturday morning, well, it's no longer morning now, obviously there's that pressure on myself to do the very best I can in the quickest time I have, or in the shortest amount of time possible. And with that pressure, there's obviously the flip side, which is the stress and the anxiety that comes with that as well. And I think it's a classic case of saying, like, this is not a sprint, this is a marathon, right? Like, I know I've set myself the target of 6 months product market fit. Yeah, sure, I've got a 12 months runway, but that last 6 months is more like a buffer. But I'm basically treating this like I've got 6 months. And yes, that sounds impossible. Like, I don't think anyone's ever achieved product market fit in 6 months. They probably have, and I hope so, because I don't want to be a trailblazer in this sense, because if it's been done before, then it reassures me. If not, that's a different story. But yeah, so if I'm to achieve it in 6 months, there is the risk that I put myself through a lot of stress. So the way this is manifested today that I've realized is someone responded to one of my email campaigns, my email, and just said, hey, I'd like to provide email feedback. And then in my head, I'm thinking, okay, right, I need to spend an hour and make sure the prototype's up to scratch. It's already up to scratch, guys. But obviously I need to double check it. I want to make sure they've got step-by-step instructions to make sure they know how to go through the app, the prototype rather. But you know what? It's okay. It's cool. As long as I get some feedback, that's better than nothing. So yeah, what I've done now is time boxed it. Maybe this doesn't really help with the stress, but I've time boxed to say I've got 5 minutes now to do a quick check of the prototype, do a quick check of the email I'm going to send to them based on the previous emails I've sent, and just get it out there. Even if I get a nugget of feedback, it's better than zero. There's a great podcast that Tim Ferriss did with what was his name? Derek Sivers, I believe. Absolutely amazing. Also check out the Tools of Titan book from Tim Ferriss as well. But anyway, one of the things that Derek mentions is he gives a really great analogy, and I'll link it down below, about riding a bike. And sometimes you find that the extra push and the extra stress you place on yourself, you just do it to make yourself feel like you're busy, make yourself feel like you're productive. But the actual result, you might get a 0.1% improvement in productivity. It's basically pointless. So yeah, relax into the result, I believe is what he says. So that's the motto of, or rather the, whatever, the thing. That's what I'm gonna go with for this particular clip. So yeah, anyway, onwards.
Sup, famalam. Ignore the weird cushion thing at the back. It's actually surprisingly comfortable. So yeah, just something I noticed yesterday. I had family come around, and it was so nice to hang out with them. And I'm trying to be less of a recluse now. I think since the pandemic, I've become super, I guess almost like a social hermit, which is quite interesting, considering what I'm doing with my current startup and the focus of my startup, which I'll talk about at some point, I promise. But yeah, one thing I noticed was that with these kind of social situations, especially when the topic of your startup comes up, that's generally when you test whether your pitch makes sense. If you can pitch your idea in a way that actually makes sense to folks who've never heard of it before, then you know like you're onto something. As in like, you know, you've chiseled it to a point where it starts to make sense basically. And as I was talking through my pitch, like I think these conversations, I feel like every time I have them, I can feel like it's a sculpture, you know, like I'm chiseling the marble, like it's slowly starting to form something that makes even more sense. And it kind of gets me thinking like, there are ways to simplify this. So 100%, like yesterday, I felt really awkward talking about my startup. I think I'm not used to like, again, it feels like you're bearing your all, right? It's your baby and it's like you're putting it out there and it's open for people to critique. So yeah, I guess my advice is just like keep having those conversations, talk to as many people as possible about your startup and chisel that pitch until you land on something where people are like, holy crap, yes. Yeah, anyway. Also, I've realized I think what I need to do is also be less harsh on myself in terms of the ability to pitch or articulate my pitch, because actually I don't think people speak about this enough, but when you're at this early of a stage of your startup, your idea is changing every 5 seconds. So actually what you thought was the right pitch is suddenly like your product proposition has changed, and therefore the pitch itself is redundant. So you end up changing all the time. So actually, it's actually very difficult to be confident when you're pitching something when it's like changing all the time. So yeah, I think I need to be less hard on myself because of that. I need to just focus on it's cool. Like you'll iterate constantly, and at some point the pitch will start to like stick. You know. So yeah, if I find I'm struggling with articulating the pitch, that's cool.